right, everybody, welcome to another episode. My name is Pete Bogdanoff.
Dave G in the place to be.
And together we are
Middle-minded.
All right, today we've been doing a thing with AI. We've talked about artwork, we've talked about filmmaking, we've talked about some other um, things that we're doing. And today, as musicians, we're going to talk a little bit more about AI in the music industry. And I think we're going to hit a couple topics. We can go down the dark route. Is everybody stealing from previous musicians and creating non-copyrightable content that is AI slop and really shouldn't be shouldn't be given to, like, you're an artist because you use AI, versus how do musicians use this as a writing tool, a recording tool, and or a music compositional tool. So I think there's both some negative things to get into and some positive, but let's hear from Dave. What you got on this?
Yeah, I like it. I like AI music. As far as for myself, I wanted. What I do right now is I'm just making stuff in Suno and listening to it on my way home. And it's. I think a lot of it depends on how focused you get in the prompt musically and sonically, and do you tell it what instruments to use and stuff like that, or do you just say, make me a fun beach song and let Suno create this fun beach song? And so I obviously get a little more intricate, and sometimes I get what I want, sometimes I don't. And I think ultimately the goal for me is to take that and put it in Suno. You can, in Suno Studio, which I've only used very little, you can create stems, and we'll talk about stems later, but I want to actually pull those. You can create MIDI stems and pull those and put it right in the DAW. And that way, because there's some times that I'll be listening to the melody that it created.
Let's talk about vocabulary real quick here.
Yeah.
Should we explain what stems are, and should we explain what a DAW is? Not everybody, I think, listens to Middle Minded is going to know what those are.
Fair
Not
enough.
even a lot of musicians, I would say, understand DAW and stems. So you take
Fair
stems.
enough.
What are stems?
It's just basically the roots of every instrument. So if you have a bass, drum kit, guitar, horns, vocals, those are all, AI now can break that down into their own specific stems, where before, when you're recording music, you record everything as a separate track, and then you mix all that together, create the final product. They're just simplifying everything right now, by the way. Whereas now there's tools that can take a song that's already made off the radio, off of whatever, and break it down into those stems. So you can have very easily, and this works very well for DJing too, is to be able to separate the vocals from the instrumental. You can mash up, meaning mix two genres or whatever.
So in simple terms, stems are music in a layered file where each instrument or person is its own layer. So you can listen to the male vocal by itself. You can listen to the bass guitar by itself. And then when a drum kit, usually they separate that into 4 or 5 kits.
Yeah, they separated into the snare, the kick, overheads. But a lot of that's where there's a big problem with Suno, because they don't do that. I haven't been able to yet. So
they do. You actually can tell it to. First of all, you can it renders 2 different versions for you to choose from, and then you can tell it to redo it until you get what you're after. And as you said, you can take the drum kit that's maybe showing 3 mics in 1 layer, and you can then go and tell that to stem that out. So you technically can get into 30, 40 layers.
Is that new with the V5 version?
No, that's me being an engineer, knowing how to make this system even better. So, because I know how to just export the multiple mic'd drum kit, so maybe 5 mics, but it came in one channel. But you can bring that back into Suno, and you can make stems, and it'll separate it. So there's always a way to jerry rig it, and I think that's kind of going on a point on AI is you can call it like, oh, anybody can do, but anybody can't think like that. Anybody doesn't engineer like a producer. Like the feeling of music that a producer is doing with an artist, teaching them how to sing and what note to keep and which one to where to breathe. This is all the work of music, and AI does make that easier, but you still have to know what you're doing. Not to, like you said, you can have fun in Suno and say, make me a jazz neo soul with Method Man singing, and it'll do it. But I think there's a difference from the hobby of gaming using Suno and then musicians using it.
Yeah, because there's a lot. If you listen to, like, Suno has a whole, you can search other artists and do all that, and there's a lot of stuff that's on there that is just like, okay, these people just put a prompt in and like, I want this, and without much musical thought to it.
What about the DAW? So we were trying to define something. I want to make sure we don't lose people.
So DAW, digital audio workspace. It's basically how you record things now. If you were back in the day, you have a whole, big control panel that everything would go in, all the mics would go in, and
in simple terms, this is when you see a recording studio on a movie or something, and they're in there in the lab. The person on the other side of that big table with all those knobs and sliders, that in essence is a DAW. Of course, we now have those in computers, and instead of all those buttons sitting in a hardware, we can sit it on a digital screen, and that is still a DAW. So it just means the software user interface for a audio producer or musician that they use to move around the music and to edit and control it.
So. I was predating the actual DAW, the digital audio, to just the board and the all analog, everything. but it's the same.
It's the same thing. I mean, that's what it is. It's just that put into digital. So now that we're up to speed on what a DAW is and what stems are. Stems are the layered files, which I'll get into when we start talking about how I use AI for music, because I think it's a game changer when morally used as a human being wanting to work. For example, taking one of my old songs, let's say Little Girl, which was a song I wrote on my first album about 20 years ago, and taking that into Suno and recreating the song in a modern take. The way I go about this process and what do I do with what I'm creating is I can make the song and all the lyrics even better using Suno and using AI. And then I could go back to my band and give the bass player and the guitar player and the drummer their bass skeleton. Do they have to pay it exact? They'd probably be smart at first, but no. The point is this is an interpretation, but at least I've given them a completely produced song. Like every thought in it is already produced. So even if we recreate it, we're probably going to just do that a little bit. So I've just made the music writing structure of how musicians go about making new songs condensed from what can be days and weeks playing with a certain song down to an afternoon.
Now, when you go into it, do you have an idea of what, I know in that case, yes, you put in one of your old songs and reworked it, but if you were to come up with something new, do you have an idea, you put something, and this is the reason I'm asking this is because this is where I have trouble with Suno, is because I have the idea, and no matter what what I prompt, it doesn't come out exactly what I want. I've even told it, the chord progression that I want, and it doesn't quite do it. Yeah. So
And I guess you got to decide if that's a problem. One, I'm stubborn. I also use AI to train AI. So I have ChatGPT open when I'm using Suno. And when Suno doesn't give me what I want, I go ask ChatGPT some tidbits that can get it to do what I want. But it doesn't. In this song "Little Girl," I wanted to do spoken word in the verses, and no matter what I do, it's not converting to the spoken word. However, it has slowed down the music, and if I get the stems, I just take out what AI wrote and drop it, and then do my spoken word. That's me as a producer, engineer, and musician, who I can do each step. So of course,
So even if you prompt like in brackets spoken word, it still sings them a little bit.
it's still, and I'll show you with some of the music that we're talking about. Do any of the songs that you had for us kind of explain what you've been doing with AI? Which of the two?
They do. They're
so we're going to try to listen to some music so you guys can see what we're talking about.
So basically, I'll give you a quick kind of what I do. My own music that I've produced tends to be all instrumental anyway. And then like I'll take some of it. I've taken beats and had other people perform over it. But you know, if I wanted to bring it to a singer, if they wanted to sing over it, that would be great. But mine's more for myself. It's down tempo lounge style. You know, a lot of it with hip hop driven beats. And I do a lot of stuff with long delays, and just really you need to listen to it with headphones because there's so much going on sonically.
You guys might get that today.
Yeah, you might. And if you, I don't know how it'll translate over the
Have you
different
ever thought about
platforms,
making a curated list for your restaurant?
but no, because I wouldn't play that type of music there. It's just not the style
No, that's
of that. But
whatever style you
yeah,
would
no,
play.
I actually have thought about doing
French
some
down tempo.
I've actually made one song, and I should have put it on there, but with French lyrics that I wrote. I actually went to ChatGPT and I was like, I want a song about this in French, and did it, put it into Suno, and it made it. I didn't bring that. Well, that's the thing. That's I know I didn't. I would have to bring it to someone.
Bring it to a translator now. Make sure.
But you know, no, I can put the. I did take the words and put through like Google Translate, and it seemed to be pretty right. Obviously, it's trying to get to where it rhymes and melodic, so it's a little bit different. But regardless of that, so that's kind of where my focus is, and then that's what I've done.
Let's see here with Tunnel Vision or Cosmic Lounge.
Let's do the tunnel vision. And the funny thing is that those.
You're gonna have to let me. Came off Bluetooth. We're gonna fix that right now. There we go. Save the day there.
So it's.
I got some vocals on there.
Yeah, it's kind of just like I listen. Like I said, I listen to them driving home. But all those little like the long delay, that reverb. Got one chord progression that I was looking for.
Maybe you should write one instrument. Maybe you're trying too much in one.
Yeah, I haven't thought about that.
I'd layer that. Totally get into this track. It's a little fast for me.
Yeah, this is I would say about probably. Yep.
You just interrupted a podcast. I tried to stop you. No, I'll get it right there. Yeah, keep going. No, we're just going to keep going. Thin Walls here at 10 Arkansas Street.
We can edit that.
But anyways, we're going to, let me get back into where I was at.
But yeah, it's again, with headphones, especially if those of you who partake in a little marijuana smoking, this music like this, it just kind of just chill and got a chill vibe. You can use it as background music and things. It is. We were talking about. It's a little fast. This is about, I think, around 90 BPM, 90, 95 BPM. So it's not super fast. But again, I tell it, all right, I want this 85 BPM, 95 BPM, 115, 120, whatever it is. BPM is beats per minute for those who don't know, but I tell it I want it 4/4. That's the beat structure you can do. I think you can in Suno you can do 4/4 or 6/8 right now. But you can have some of them put like a swing feel to it, which I've done. So, but anyway, that's kind of just.
Go ahead and stop that as we get into the next one, because I'm just going to keep grooving with it. I was writing songs in my head. That's who I am. What I do.
Play one of yours if you want now.
Well, let's talk about prompting. And so we've already played the middle-minded rap song that we did. This was closer to, I think, the hobby level of, now I told it how to write the lyrics and what middle-minded was about, and I fed it a lot of information about our podcast. So it wasn't just write a prompt and go, but for the basis of understanding the middle-minded rap song, it is just a novice and or a play, like an application that anybody can use and play with and come up with something cool. This was a theme song for our podcast done in a gangster rap
that was like a year ago, right?
Style.
You did that in Udio, though, right?
That was Udio.
Okay.
Udio's kind of no more.
I noticed.
They caved.
I think they're trying to get better, but Suno is clearly the platform that everybody's using.
Moved to.
I remember.
I like the other one better.
I remember when you first showed me Udio, and so I downloaded it and or whatever, paid for it. And I played around with it for a little bit, but even just with simple prompts, I was not that happy with what it was doing, and everything seemed to be like a minute and 30 seconds, or it was short, Whereas once I started messing around with Suno, I was instantly like, all right, this is fun, this is cool, and then after using it a little bit, got a little better with it, got used to using prompts and making it do more what I want it to do. But now you got the Suno Studio where you can actually bump it over, and it's almost like a little DAW in itself in Suno. I've messed around with that very little. I think in the other song you have, oh no, maybe it was in that one that we just played. And I took it and then I reworked one part in there, but I didn't spend a ton of time. The thing I like that for now, I'm just messing around with it because I don't have a ton of time. Really what I'd like to do is go take it into Suno Studio and then rework parts and then bounce it down to, we're going to get into another, the definition thing here, but bounce it to MIDI stems, not just the stems. So what MIDI is it basically, it controls whatever you're using. So like when you use a keyboard in your DAW and connect it, it connects by MIDI, and it doesn't, the keyboard itself doesn't make any noise. It doesn't have any sounds. So once it goes in the DAW, you have to pick out what sound you want it to be, whether you want it to be a violin or a trumpet or just keyboard. So that's a quick, what MIDI does. And so bringing it just to the stems and bringing it into your DAW as the whole audio file, or wave file, then you can't change up the instruments too much. You could add effects, you could splice it, cut it, shift it, move it. But with the MIDI stems, you can actually bring it into your DAW and play whatever virtual instruments you have It'll play the exact same what it did, but just in
Different sounds.
different sounds. And so this is probably a good time to talk about what Suno is doing as far as putting artifacts and almost like digital watermarks in their music. And platforms are recognizing that and knowing it, and they're banning it or kicking it off the platform because they say it's not true music or whatever. We'll get into that whole point after, but if you take it and you take it into the MIDI form and then put it into your DAW and use your instruments, and you can come up with as close to that instrument as you can get, you're probably not going to mimic it because it's an actual AI sound. And I've noticed a lot of different, and I noticed this in yours, the song, when you shared it with me, I was hearing almost sounds of similar instruments that I've been hearing just playing around with it. And so it does have a limited range of what it tends to use for different genres. And so I think that if you take the MIDI stems and then bring them into your DAW and recreate them, you technically have you're not going to have any of those artifacts or watermarks or anything because it's not going to be, it's not going to be the sound. So
the copyright thing is an interesting thing. I mean, I make the argument on the other side that hitting the key on the piano and it making a sound is almost what the big industry musicians want to copyright. Like, you can't copyright hitting a piano key and hitting 3 keys in a row. Yeah, you start to create a melody, and now that group of notes is what starts to be copyrightable. But at what point are you just being ridiculous? Because there's billions of humans playing billions of songs, and we've all played whatever you said was copyrighted has been played by a billion people before you. You're just the one who put it on vinyl or whatever audio now. So I think the copyright thing with AI is going to play out. I am afraid it's going to go the way of Napster or get, what Apple did to us, stealing all our music. I used to have gigs of songs, and Apple just mysteriously lost them one day.
That's one of the things that, like, all right, so that's the other thing. Once you upload your music into this, it's theirs.
Yeah.
It's theirs. It's not yours anymore. I guess if you had the original,
you're taking this ownership. Like, music belongs to you. Music doesn't belong to you. Notes don't belong to you. They're just sound waves. Sound waves put in different order, and you're trying to take ownership that you own those sound waves. I get it. That's the copywriting of music.
But you take a song. I don't know. Pick any song you did with Prophet Soul way back, right? Just name it. Doesn't matter.
I'm like, did I do one of these?
I'll tell you, because where I'm going is I upload. I want to finish my point first, but then I have a point with that. Is that once if I created that song, let's just say whatever the name of the song is, and I put it in there, and now they take it. If somebody else uses it somewhere, I want to have the right to be able to say, hey, that's my song. I don't want you to be able to use it in your ad for this and make a ton of money off it unless you're going to pay me, right? And that's the whole thing with what copywriting is for, right? And so if I take that song and put it in, or if you took one of your songs and put it in, and then you hear it in a Toyota ad, right? You're going to be like, what the hell? I want my piece, right? Or no? Would you?
I think we're going to move past that, mathematically speaking. AI in all its form. This is for medicine, surgeries, gene splicing, protein. This is music. This is art. Is when you think of AI, you have to start thinking in infinite knowledge, because unlike a human who can only carry one thought at a time and has to go through a memory bank, AI is keeping every thought all the time, all at once. And when you start realizing, it's like I said, the sound wave, at a certain point, I think humanity is going to have to redefine what copyright and ownership kind of means. Again, I don't think we're at a point to, and I'm definitely not the trademark law firm type to do this, and nor do I think this conversation should go down too legal of a path. Um, but I know AI and legal capitalism is going into World War III. Like there's going to be a huge battle. I think the infiniteness of AI is going to be the weapon that's going to be hard to beat because it makes what a human wants to take ownership of and makes it pointless because it's infinite. And now it's not special. And once you realize that, what does copyright and trademark even mean? Do humans need to get paid the way they get paid? I'm an artist. This is how I pay all my bills. So this is touchy for me. But I think there's so much in that conversation. It's probably a whole conversation. Yeah. Let's get back to how we're using the AI right now, because ultimately, as musicians, I think that's what this is about. When we're talking stems and DAWs and MIDI, we're talking a musician who's a vocalist and a producer and an engineer writing music versus a instrumentalist writing music. So shift back. If you want to listen to the Cosmic Lounge, like you as a let's get back into how are we using this. What is fascinating about it? Because we haven't even like AI and music creation to me is absolutely fascinating. The abilities that I have, I wish I could go back to being 30 and I would have produced other people instantaneously, because what I know how to do with AI is I could take that girl who can sing really good and tone in her style and then start writing songs that are specifically for her voice. And then we can go into big band if we want, or we can stay solo artist in a cappella and acoustic stuff. And it allows us to try so many things without even burning one vocal cord. Just, well, one, because you got to record the voice, do what's called voice cloning to do that. So to me, the technology is so fascinating. That's where I want this podcast to concentrate on.
Are you talking
creating,
about
not bitching.
You would take it, if I'm hearing you right, you would take it and you would record the vocals and then play around with it in AI and then figure out what sound you wanted to do or which genre, and then have her re-sing it in that style.
Because
right?
then
you're not just using the
well, let's use me as, and we'll use one of my tracks. Is because I write, because I produce, because I paint, because I tattoo, because I do everything creatively. Doing all those things at one time is very difficult. Being your engineer, being your recording engineer, running the DAW surface, performing on the microphone, and being the producer, telling the person on the microphone whether they hit magic or whether they were stale or flat. Like, to wear all those hats as one person is very difficult. AI is helping that immensely because I can write my lyrics. I can choose a music beat using a beat producer or another form of buying music and doing collaborative music. I can then record myself over that song, and then I can take what I've learned in my capacity and then take that into AI now and say, okay, advance this. I'm a better singer than this. I was wearing all these hats. This came out good, but I know when I do this with my band Prophet Soul and I have 3 backup vocalists, a conga player, a trumpet, 11-piece band, it's a different track. So AI is giving me that band that I don't normally have. So we're going to listen to a song called Wonderful. This was written by me. This was one of probably my best song that I've written. There's some really cool, the chorus is really cool. But this is me using a beat producer. So we're looking at music in the reggae genre, picking a guy that I like, purchasing from him, then I'm creating a song over the top of it, putting my vocals and my writing.
This isn't AI at all.
This is not AI at all.
Just wanted to clarify that.
This is, well, the female vocal in this was taken off a stem track of AI, but everything in my voice was non-AI. But the woman you hear, just that one stem, came from another AI track. I can live for my soul, for my soul, life is beautiful. I am a So you can see my voice in this, the cadence that I have. In this self-produced, self-engineered environment, it becomes a little stale because you're wearing too many hats. And when I would do this with a reggae band, I would be way high energy and like very into it, and you'd get that intensity. Hard to get in the studio.
Especially when you're doing
everything.
You're standing in the vocal booth.
So let's talk about how we do this in Suno now, right? So I take this track that is 95% not AI. It's natural. I actually had this track before the AI was added to it. It was just me. So I could have done this with just me. But I take that into Suno as an audio sample. And then there's a thing called voice cloning, where you now can have your audio sample, and then you can bring in what's called a voice clone. A voice clone is basically I can take a vocal of mine from another song or from a grouping of songs. Sometimes what I do is I sing like as close to R. Kelly as I can get. Then I sound like Johnny Cash. Then I go over to my Tom Waits voice. That's that gargly you hear. And then I might do some Everlast. And I'll take one audio file with several styles of my voice. And then I enter that as the voice clone. The AI analyzes that. And now when I say to remake this song of mine wonderful, it's going to do so in a voice similar to mine. If not, sometimes it's dead on, other times it's close. But not only can you do that, you can control how good this person is. Now, this is humbling, because when I put, oh, I'm advanced, I'm an engineer, I've been singing, I've been in several bands, I've been on stage, I've done this, I've owned a record label, I've owned a recording studio, I've got to be advanced. But what it means is the singer's advancement. So you put that in, and you better be able to keep up with the Isley Brothers. You better be able to sing like Aretha Franklin or whoever. So you do have to control your voice clone within your own ability level. And I don't think that's talent level, because I have talent in writing and how I rap and give my cadence. That's much different than, let's say, the Isley Brothers. To compare the two, they don't compare. But I can take my clone voice and say, no, be intermediate. This is going to stop AI from giving these, and you're up at the top church choir like Jesus is coming down.
Yeah.
Well, if you don't sing like that, you probably shouldn't program the AI to tell you you're that powerful. So you have to tell it you're intermediate or beginner.
You're never going to hit that.
Because you're never. And you will say in the song that I'm going to hopefully find on this one, the guy, my clone voice, is doing stuff that on magic nights I can do, but it's definitely not consistent. So I wouldn't record it exactly like it is. But my point of this is to get my band to play this music and to get my backup vocalists to play these melodies and to sing these backing vocals, and then to go in and replace all of the AI clone voice of me with actually me. So I go in the recording studio and record myself playing this. This is one of the tracks.
Now this is
all AI.
With the clone.
This is not with a clone. This is first step.
Can you pause it right there? Sorry. That little scratch. I'm not sure if the next song that I picked for you has, but that's one of the things I tell it oftentimes to do. Like, I'll program it, occasional scratching. And that, I think, is what I heard when you sent me this, that I was like, okay, that click, because it sounded so similar to scratches that I've heard in music that I've used. And so just wanted to point that out.
Well, the scratch is a scratch. I do tell it to do hip hop in my thing. So it's reggae, but I have a hip hop vibe.
It's just that same, we'll hear it again, but that particular scratch.
Okay, so now you can see my backing vocals I've sculpted. I've got them to be much more like a reggae band. Now this one wasn't cloned to my voice, but here's the beautiful thing. My man's beautiful. So now it just taught me a different way to sing my own song that I can sing. And this one, he does get a little, but this is how I sing. But now it gave me more personality, I guess.
Yeah.
So now when I go
never
record,
hear you do that. So,
no, I don't.
But it's
this one
but
I
you
don't
can.
know
You
if
can though.
I can, because you can learn it, and I've gone in and done about half the work on this particular. And I actually do hit that note. I definitely.
That's what that's
for me. So then now I can learn it. For a few days, I can learn the song. Now in my DAW surface, in my computer program, I throw away all the AI vocals, even the clone vocals of me, and then I record it after practicing this for 5-6 days. And all of a sudden, I'm doing a higher level of my own music that I actually wanted to write. But being all self-produced, you kind of too many hats. So let's listen to another one. I think this one's got more of the voice cloning in it. Could be wrong. Same song, but now we got a different vibe. Right? Yeah, and this one's a little more.
I want to go to Hawaii, Pete. You make me island feel.
Like the licorice in a candy dish. That girl is wonderful. I can be. So all of a sudden I get to practice it a different way. And then I get to go to my wife, who this song is about, and go, which one do you like? Because I can do both. Yeah, she really liked this version, and I think it's a little more happy. I like the power version, right? A little more dominating, and that's how we're using it. So I'm not just writing one song. I'm showing like 20 versions of this song until I find the one that's like, now that's what I wanted to do. And it's all based on the fact that my original song that had no AI in it, that I've been writing. So AI didn't write this, I did. It sure as hell helped as it gives us these.
But the music AI wrote, because it's completely different.
Oh, it's completely different. Yeah. Every time. What I would do, like with Pop and Soul, I'd go in and have in the studio, I'd replace all of it.
Because I tell you, I tried. I tried to. I was going to bring this up earlier, and I'm glad it was when that woman came in. But I'm glad that I forgot, and then am now getting to it, because I took a song that we had gone into the studio with Leroy. It was Ed playing drums. Oscar was playing bass. At some songs, I was playing bass on some songs. I was drumming on some songs. But when we recorded it in the studio, we never finished. I think it was, I can't remember why we didn't finish, but all the tracks, most of the music is finished and produced. The vocals are still scratch track vocals of Leroy's. And so I wanted to go in, take out the vocals. There was one, so Oscar was playing a fretless bass, and for whatever reason, now maybe it wasn't tuned completely right, but he wasn't hitting right on the note. So it was a little flat on almost everything. And so I wanted to go in, pull out the stem.
Threw Oscar under the bus.
Sorry, Oscar. Oscar's a great bass player. I like playing with Oscar, but it wasn't. I think it was more the guitar, the bass that he was using. I don't think he was actually. That wasn't the bass he normally used. Mm-hmm. I think he had either just got it or something. But anyway, regardless of that, I wanted to pull the bass out. But when I put that song into AI, it completely changed it. It changed it so dramatically that I was like, it changed the whole structure and everything.
That, right? So under the advanced setting in Suno, you can go down and you can tell it to completely keep the song the same, go all the way up to 100% on the amount the original song influences. Right? Well, there's weirdness, then there's the style, and then there's the actual audio file you're using. So if you turn your audio file all the way up, I did this with Little Girl, which is a song I wrote in 2002, very psychedelic song. And then I'm like, I really want to redo that song. So I threw it in, and it was giving me versions of the song that were too far away from what I did. It still is. What I'm going to play is too far away from my original, but you control that by these settings, and you can get it back. To your extent, I don't think it's ready, and I think somebody will,
Yeah.
and Suno probably will, to actually record it, separate it, and not change it. It's made to interpret it, understand it, and then recreate similarity, which is part of the copyright thing. So it's actually doing the originator justice a little bit, because it's
no, and that's what I was going to say. Also, with it being now, that song that I uploaded in there is, you know, it's Suno's now. It's not ours anymore.
I do, because I upload this, and as you can see, this was very psychedelic. This song, "Little Girl." This is actually my daughter, and my wife and me. And for the life of me, I couldn't get Suno to keep this kind of psychedelic classical piano bridge. It just wanted to change that. The more I moved the advance, the more it gave me back to what I want. I think you're right. In the future,
is this the one that you put through Suno?
No, this is my original from 2000.
You don't have the one you put through Suno?
I do have it, and we're going to listen to it next.
Awesome.
But I wanted to show like how slow and psychedelic this is, like Pink Floyd style.
Yeah,
like
yeah. I was thinking Brick in the Wall.
Yeah, exactly. It's about a little girl whose dad ODs on cocaine when her mom is out of the country on business, and 5 days later she almost dies from starvation, and her dad's dead body. So I wanted
That's not fucking morbid at all.
No, not at all.
Holy shit, Pete.
I was driving down the highway, and there was a little yellow house.
Yeah.
And I swear to you, a fucking ghost or something screamed at me that this was what was going on. I immediately started writing a song just by passing a yellow house on the freeway.
You hear a ghost, and you don't bother to go into the yellow house. It's probably telling you to get in there. There's a dead guy OD'd here. Come on, help the little girl.
You got to realize that's like magical, like thinking. Like I wouldn't believe it myself.
That's funny. That's crazy.
And now this has like a little hip hop overtone. It's more acoustic. So let's go in and let's listen to a couple versions of what it did to this song.
Okay.
But it definitely took out the psychedelic.
Which is to me the whole premise of the vibe of the song.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But you got to ask yourself, if I could combine the essence of this with the new stuff, oh my God. Yeah. And my problem with this was when I first started singing and self-producing. So I was never happy with this chorus, right? Like I even actually did this chorus better live, but in recording, this is what I got. So here's another version. Here's the AI version. I haven't replaced the vocals with this yet. Kept the piano. And now it's a little more like my current music. Yellow house on the side of the road. You know the house, the one out on Highway 65. And so, you know, like,
completely different.
but I can hit this, like, this is very natural for me. You know the house. But it's taught me to do this, even though I could naturally do it.
Day number one, mother's off in London, and father just came home late from having fun and without no job. This was his father's reply. Daddy, can I go outside? Now, well, hold on, baby girl, hold on. I got one more line, yeah.
I gotta take just one more time, and we'll go outside. On the side of the road,
You know the house, you know the one along
Highway 65.
On the side of the road. That girl in that little yellow house. On the side of the road. You know the house.
So the question is everything that's good about this combined with everything that was good about the original and the ability that I'll have to massage, I mean, it maximizes my creativity in a way that's infinite. Like I had to record all these sounds. I had to go out everywhere I went and record my daughter and record little, when I was doing these. So let's go ahead and we're gonna listen to another version of this, just to see how you experiment with making small adjustments. Have more of it. Little girl in that little yellow house on the side of the road. You know the house, the one out on Highway 65. Little girl in that little yellow house.
Yeah, completely different.
On the side. Completely. Probably 25 versions later of little massages. The one I showed you before, I liked better.
And are you doing those adjustments in the Suno studio?
I'm using ChatGPT and in the Suno studio. I'm adjusting the clone voice. I'm also adjusting what song I use as the bass. So this very well probably was used in AI version of the song for a new version. And then to get an idea of what we do.
And so, Pete, if you...
So this is a song called Roses in the Dark about my wife's battle with cancer. This is a song that saved her life. I recorded, I wasn't unhappy with it. So this is me in my recording studio, original, no AI. This is my lyrics, my chosen music, and how I chose to tell the story. You just gotta look around and find some roses on the ground. I saw you go. I'm gonna let this one play out. So I knew important parts will. I touched your shame as you gave into your pain. The ultimate sin. I watched your light go dim. A family's lost from this unholy cause. To think that thought, death can't be bought. Our children so really like this performance. Grab onto kind of going through Suno about like addicted to the punk rock, and then I listen to them. You had this pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, this was human, right? Like this was father talking to wife. Husband talking to wife. So here's the chorus I wanted to make sure we heard. Gotta look, gotta find them roses in the dark. Roses in the dark. Petals from the heart. Gotta look, gotta find them roses in the dark. At any time when you feel that you just can't hold. Okay, so that's no AI. That's just me in my studio, self-producing, using music that's copyrighted. It's I own the rights to it. This is a version from AI that I like the best so far. Darkness is all around. This is a clone of my voice. This is not a live performance. The moment that dark prince seems to hold the crown, you just gotta look around and find some roses on the ground. I saw your ghost, and so I knew death was close. I touched your shame as you gave into your pain, the ultimate sin. I watched the light go dim. I like how it kept it very close to my original, but that's because I turned it all the way up. And now it starts to get more.
You know death can't be bought.
And really,
Children so small,
you're,
we just
you're,
can't lose
you could
control.
get this effect on your voice anyway, just as it is,
totally
because
could.
it's just a lot of it's a lot of reverb.
It's
This is the part, like in my personal recording, I didn't get to this,
roses in the dark.
and I totally can. It just let AI teach me to use my voice and bring it up to that performance level. When you're writing, it's hard to do that.
I noticed that's one thing that Suno does on all vocals is that it puts a ton of reverb, a ton of exciter effects. There's like a virtual plugin that you can use in Exciter, and that is I'm hearing that right away in that.
This part of the song came out so much nicer. Even if I go back to my original without AI, I can just do this. Because now I've learned, I gotta do this.
Yeah.
It would take that song a little higher and not be AI. But me as a vocalist have used AI.
That's what you would have back in the day paid a vocal coach to do. To sit there and a producer to sit there and say, you know what, this part needs this much more excitement, this much more. You got to hold that note. And that's all. Producer and vocal coach
is do. You got to be humble, take it in, and whatnot. But this, as a writer, this is a beautiful song. It has some great lines in it. I've seen people cry to this song several times. So for me to take a song that I already felt pretty good about, but now I get to fucking Grammy it up a little.
But that goes back to, like, you gotta here's the thing, is that somebody's like, you're gonna take that, or you're hopeful to take that and bring it to a band and actually reperform that. Whereas I think a lot of people would just say, man, that's polished. I like that. I'm going to produce that and put that out. And it's all AI. And I think that's where a lot of
what's wrong with people having fun? Isn't that people playing with music?
Yeah, I don't disagree at all.
I mean, when I go into Call of Duty and fucking blow everybody's head off, I don't actually steal a Marine's job. I'm just believing I'm having fun playing warfare. Well, that's immoral. We shouldn't be making fun of that, maybe. But playing music, you're going to try to tell me that a little 9-year-old or a 14-year-old who doesn't know everything you know about music can't play with music with AI?
Oh, no, absolutely not.
How rude.
No, I would never say that. Oh, I'm for it.
I'm not saying you. I mean, in general,
I'm saying
this is what we got to think about. What's wrong with normal people playing with music in a way they've never been able to before?
Yeah.
So, and then when you take it to musician level, like as a producer, I got tools I've never had before.
But I think a lot of those producers, what I'm saying is, I think a lot of those, like, people are going to people like Suno producers, and all they're doing is putting it into AI and being like, oh yeah, it's a final product.
It is. We did that for my web design video. So I'm like boring ad agency video. So you just tell it to write a song about web design. And it's like, why would I go? Like, I used to have to go spend a couple $1,000s for that.
Yeah.
Now I spend a couple minutes. No dollars.
That's why I'm so there's the question. Like I said, I could make some ambient music to throw behind a reel, and I don't really care that much. That's fine. I could, if I see a commercial, if you see an ad and it's just like driving and there's some AI music behind it, that's fine.
It's already all over.
I know. I feel it's.
I don't think it's going anywhere. And by the time the legal battle gets into court, AI will already know how to win that legal battle. And the AI will be its own lawyer, and I think will win that. And that's kind of the thing. So, last on this list, a song called "Dead Man's Soul." This is a song done in AI, but I've gone in and replaced a lot of the AI vocals with my vocal. Now, I'll be honest, this was not my last version. I lost the file. So this isn't a perfect vocal version for me, but it's pretty close for the most part. So this is what I mean where we write the song. I wrote the lyrics, and then I write the song, and then I tweak the song with AI. Then I take the stem files as a download, so the guitar, the drums, the vocals, everything separated. I delete the male vocal in the song, and then I turn on my microphone and I start recording my voice, and I ended up singing this whole song.
Is this the one that you put on YouTube?
I shared this with you.
I'm just
I think I teased with it. I never finished it, so I don't know that
I'm just wondering if YouTube picks up the artifacts if it will let you. That was why
I haven't noticed anything from them picking up a song that I've used, but I don't know if they're banning it or not. I mean, so this is my actual voice.
Yeah.
This was actually not even in the AI song. This was, which I then learned how to sing it. Through the eyes of a dead man's soul. So now what I would do, like this is a song that could be sung with probably like a 5 or 6 piece band. But finding a couple of guitar players, a bass player, a drummer, me, and there is other vocalists in the end of this. This is totally possible. Bring a song to life. Like in 2 rehearsals, I could probably get any serious professional band to learn, play, and go perform this song. And we would do it as live humans. And we would just, okay, this is the beats per minute. Yeah. Okay, this is the pad. Okay, this is your bass line. Doctor, doctor, say it ain't so. Dance a godmother. It's time to let the children know.
I think it also goes back to, like we were talking in a video about AI art, and would AI art be just hanging in a gallery? And I think the conclusion, you know, I think one thing you said was like, why not? Why, if people are going to look at it, right? And I think it doesn't matter if it's AI art. If you look at it, you like it, it brings an emotion to you, it triggers something. Same thing with music. Is this mine? Yeah. If when you listen to it, you feel happy, sad, whatever, any kind of emotion, does it really matter that it's AI? Because, you know, technically, yeah, I could do the same thing. I could take this, I could program a drum beat, I could go in, play the keys, the pads, I can lay that bass line down.
You don't criticize AI for borrowing people's music, but where did you get this music from? Isn't this borrowed by you? Like, didn't you listen to someone else play and been like, I like this vibe?
What's this?
Yeah,
no, this
so
is AI.
I'm gonna go make it. No, I know it is. Okay. But my point is the stance is that okay, copyright. Where did this come from? You're stealing this from somebody. But every musician that picks up a guitar or a microphone or a tuba, whatever, is borrowing from the things they've heard from other people.
Sure.
We were taught the same way the AI was taught. Listen to this, develop some opinions about it, and then reuse the musical arsenal. AI is doing the same thing a human's doing. You're just giving the human authority, and the AI, you're like, no.
I brought this up in one of the other videos where I think I was playing with Sean Smith, and we were at Paul's studio when he had an Excelsior, and he played a guitar riff, and then he recorded it, and he let me hear it next time he was there. He played it, and I was like, that's a song already. That's what song is that? What song is that? Well, it's the Descendants and whatever the song was. And he's like, what? And so I said, yeah, hold on. Let's find this and play it. And played it. Sure enough, he's like, the riff was almost exact. He's like, I came up with that last night. Must have heard it somewhere, and then
Must
just
have.
or
It's not even
it's
must
also
have.
just
They're
just
just sound waves.
yeah. Then the
Like
chords.
sound waves are not prejudiced on who discovers them or who makes them.
There's only so many notes, and there's only so many combinations of notes. So yeah, no, I get it. I get it.
At the end of the day, it's just that. So we've been at it for a little over an hour, so we probably should wrap up here pretty soon. I My last take on AI is it is such a powerful tool for professionals who are not afraid of it. And for that matter, what I'm saying is use it for all it's worth and then replace it with humans and own what you've created together. Because nobody can stop you from taking that recording that humans did, that you learned and you used AI to produce, and you're following all the laws, you're following all the good things. So I think professionally, AI is a very powerful tool for saving money when you don't need to, like background music for your next social. Like you shouldn't be spending money on this. Like to begin with, the fact that musicians are trying to make money off of that, like it's elevator music. Really, go write a hit song. Yeah. Like I understand if they stole your chorus to a #1 hit or number 100 hit, but we're not talking about that in most professional cases of music. We're talking about background pads and just beats to keep a slideshow moving forward. We're not talking about that.
Yeah, I think in that for sure, it's good. Like I said, I'll open Suno on my drive home sometimes and just hit play and just shuffle and just listen to stuff that it's just like background music and.
You can't tell the AI. Like we on YouTube, I have a bunch of channels, and then it's inevitably it'll hit an AI music playlist, and you totally can tell the AI lyrics. It's almost like AI writing. You can see it now. They put the little hyphens and dashes, and the way that it compares things. Like you can tell it's AI, and people who use business writing are learning to remove it. I think in musicians, it's like you can tell because it's almost like it's too poetic. It's the metaphors are just too strong. Like not everybody's that great of a writer. Yet AI is making everybody a Edgar Allan Poe, making everybody a superior thinker, and so you can tell the synthetic. But I think that's why I talk about professional musicians using this as using this as a tool. It's another instrument
because if you did if everything that people produced was out there, it would get homogenized. It would sound the same because AI doesn't vary that much on the instruments, and that's what I'm saying. That's why when I heard that little scratch, I'm like, I've heard that scratch and stuff that I've played with. It doesn't. I don't know how you tell it to do a different scratch, but if you just say occasional scratching, it does that exact one. And there's things that I pick up, like when I was messing around with a little bit of a reggae dub feel in some of the stuff that I was doing, and I noticed some of the same feel in the reggae version of the song that you had, the AI one. And so if everything becomes that, it's going to all sound the same.
Well, then that just opens like, okay, now you're going to have like Devo come out of the blue and do something unique nobody's ever heard of because they felt like they were running out of stuff. So we got new techno music, and which was a whole new thing. And then you're talking about scratches, like music was like used up and blah, blah, there was nothing new. And then all of a sudden scratching came in. So I think humans adapt to what AI will do to bring commonality, like making everything so easy that it starts to blend and sound together. That's just an open door opportunity for someone to be very innovative.
The last thing I want to mention before we end, because I do think this is possibly a good tool, as well as to create a song in Suno, whether it's a jazz, whatever kind of vibe you want, and then sample that. And I'm sure people are already doing that. But because you can go sit there and dig through crates and crates of albums and figure out, like over time what you want to use to sample to make the song, but just create it in AI, and now you got.
I mean, it's like
now you got it.
So a video editor, which is something I do a lot. And then if you're creating a cinematic scene, telling a story, you want the right piece of music. And back in the day, that mean going into all your audio libraries and thinking and looking of every song you've ever heard and which is the perfect one. And the thing is, with AI now, you can go have a chat with ChatGPT about the vibe, and then tell it to give me the top 12 songs that meet this criteria. Once you get those songs, you can then say, okay, now create a new song for my cinematic background music that matches this. And you're right. Now I'm not paying for Ain't No Sunshine, because I've just said that that's the vibe I want, but create a new song. And now I'm using it in film, saving my company a lot of money and still hitting dead on what my creative vision was. And so you're using AI as an ultimate. I don't want to use the word cheat, because it's not cheating. It's a tool. It's intellectually using technology in a manner that expedites your creative process. Because back in the day, that would take hours to scour music and catalogs. I mean, hours, like sometimes 12 hours if the video product had a good enough budget and it was important enough, it was a project that was worth preserving and spending money on. Well, you would spend 12 hours on what I just talked about, that process I would do in AI now. I might get this down to 35, 45 minutes. And doesn't that save my company? That I'm not Spielberg. I'm not MGM. I don't have their budgets. But now it gave me the tool to use my creativity. It's almost like they were like the mafia. They made it so expensive that the rest of us can't even do movies or can't even make music. Well, AI is giving the power back to the people.
I see that.
All right, let's close with that, because I like that one.
AI
is
giving
bringing
power
back to the people,
until
the little people.
Until it kills us all.
You know how
We're
many
gonna have
times I
some
wanted
fun
a
with
church
this.
choir in my music?
Yeah.
But I don't have the time and energy to go hire a church choir.
Yep.
Well, now I just tell it to give me a church choir singing these lyrics. And so I'm infinitely...
And until it kills us all, let's use it for a good.
Music's
for good.
Right.
Music is good.
All right.
All right.
Dave and Pete, middle-minded, y'all.
Peace and love.